Hey there, guys, it's Nick, the ASMR nerd, and welcome to the first ever mini relaxing review that I'm doing here on the channel. This is a shorter kind of review, and it'll be a bit less formal. I'm looking to keep it to about 10 minutes max, and I'm not going to be doing formal testing and rundown with pros and cons or anything like that. And the reason I'm doing this is because you might remember a few weeks back I published a review on a pair of Bluetooth earbuds, the Dudios Zeus Ace, these little suckers right here. And you might recall from that review that I like them quite a bit. I found them to be, if not perfect, at least a good value for the price. They come in at a very reasonable price in the mid $30 range, and they sounded pretty good after some EQ. But one of the things that I was looking for was whether they would be usable as headphones for falling to sleep with. Something that you could put in your ears and listen to ASMR as you laid your head down on the pillow and drifted off. And I found that unfortunately they weren't great for that. And that was because they were a little bit big. They just were a little large in the ear. And for a side sleeper like me, I found them to be a bit on the large side, such that they were uncomfortable. The other challenge with these little guys, you can see it's trying to pair right now, blinking away there. The other challenge is that they had these buttons on them, hardware buttons, that are used to control them, which is all well and good, but again, when you're a side sleeper, that's a problem because you're accidentally pressing the buttons as you mash your head into your pillow. So for those reasons, although I found them to be perfectly competent earbuds, and I did recommend them for casual listening or, gym workouts on a budget, that kind of thing, they weren't suitable for listening to ASMR in bed. Fast forward a little bit, and the Dudios representative that I spoke with originally let me know that they have a new model of earbud out, and that's these guys right here, the Dudios Free Mini. And at first, I wasn't really interested in looking at them because on paper they seem very, very similar to the Dudios Zeus Ace. They have similar kind of battery life, similar transmission protocols. They're both Bluetooth 5.0. The big selling point of the Dudios Free Mini was that they have touch controls as opposed to those button controls. And so I thought, well, that would maybe make them more appropriate for sleeping on your side up against a pillow. They also advertised upgraded 7.2mm drivers, which to me didn't sound like a big step. I think the Dudios Zeus Ace have 7mm drivers, so I thought, how different could they really be? And I assumed that the Dudios Free Mini would sound basically like the Dudios Zeus Ace. But after chatting with the rep for a little bit, I said, okay, whatever. Send them on over. I'll test them out. If I think that they're different enough, I will do a little mini review, a comparative review, and a little update, basically, on my Zeus Ace review with the updated impressions from the Free Mini. In terms of pricing, I will say that these come in right around the same price point. The Free Mini, I think, are a few dollars more, maybe $5 tops, but they're still under 40 bucks. So the price difference is fairly negligible. But let's do a little compare and contrast. So first of all, let's just say I was surprised. I was taken aback with overall how different the Free Mini are. And I'll tell you why in a moment. But visually, even right off the bat, there's a noticeable difference, and that is in the size. So we've got the Dudios Zeus Ace on the bottom. If it ever wants to focus, there we go. Zeus Ace on the bottom, Free Mini on the top here. You can see the case for the Free Minis are a lot smaller. And that does come at a cost. That is not for free. The cost here is reduced case battery life. So you might recall that the Zeus Ace, this case acts as a battery repository and charger and confers an additional 30 hours or so of battery life by charging them while they're in the case, as you can see right there. The Free Mini case does the same thing, but this one only has an additional 15 or so hours of battery life. So the battery is like half the size. That's kind of a bummer, but that is a trade-off. There's no such thing as a free lunch, right? So less battery life reserve, but a smaller, more compact case, perhaps more convenient for slipping in a pocket or a purse or a backpack. Otherwise, they're pretty similar. They've got the USB mini USB, or sorry, micro USB type. Doesn't want to focus, but plug there that you can plug into your laptop or whatever to charge them, or to charge the battery in the case, which then charges the earbuds. They have indicator LEDs in a very similar way. The Dudios Free Mini has a little LED right here. Come on. You can't really see it. There it is. Little indicator LED when the case is charging, that comes on. Whereas I believe, yes, the Zeus Ace has two little indicator LEDs right here on the front when it's charging. But the individual earbuds, each bud, will also have an LED on it to show when it's charging inside the case. There we go. Get these guys. They both have a little red LED that lights up when they're charging. Don't think you can see it, but it's there. There it is. Same as the Dudios Zeus Ace. So nothing particularly different there. They both have magnetic not closures, but each earbud is magnetically seated in the case so that it sort of snaps into place and won't fall out, like so. Same case with the Dudios Free Mini. They don't fall out. I found them actually a little easier to get out of the case, to be honest, which is kind of nice. Dudios Free Mini they have a little L and R indicator on the case, which is nice. I don't believe the Zeus Ace do. No, they don't. But they do have the indicators on the buds themselves, as does the Free Mini. But the biggest differences are visible when we actually take out the buds, compare the individual buds. So let's take one out here from the Zeus Ace, take one out here from the Free Mini. Both going to be flashing. That's okay. Trying to pair. So we can see that from this side, I really need to find a better way to do this. From this side, they don't look dramatically different. They each have the little silicone tip. They have the little metal contacts for charging the case. But from this side, you can see that the Zeus Ace, come on, anytime now, there we go, has that hardware button, whereas the Free Mini has no such thing. It's just a touch surface, and that touch surface works pretty well. The other really important thing here is that the Free Mini is actually a bit smaller. You see that? It's not as deep, and it's not quite as chunky. It's more rounded overall. And what this means is that not only did I find it a more comfortable fit in my ear, I found that it got a seal much more easily than the Zeus Ace did, but it also was more comfortable when laying on my side. And because of those touch controls, I wasn't accidentally pushing buttons while I was sleeping. And so in that regard, the Free Mini actually is a viable option for side sleepers. Now, with my ears, I found them modestly comfortable. I didn't find it super duper comfortable. I did still notice that it was there, but I didn't find it to be, it didn't impede my sleep or anything like that. Your mileage may vary. It's going to depend on the size and shape of your ear. I would say that people with smaller ears might find them uncomfortable. But for me, they did work where the Zeus Ace did not. So that was fantastic. And that's because of those touch controls and because of that slightly smaller housing. But beyond those physical differences, the biggest thing that immediately struck me about the Free Minis was their sound quality. I was literally well, not literally blown away, because I wouldn't be here if I was, but I was figuratively blown away by the audio quality of these little buds. It is so different from, or it's not even that different, it's just so improved from these Dudios Zeus Ace. The Dudios Zeus Ace were perfectly competent performers. I found the bass was lacking a little bit by default, and the upper mids were too harsh for my ears by default. But after a bit of EQ, I found them to be pretty good. The EQ out of the box on the free minis is fantastic. Those harsh upper mids and low trebles were gone. In their place was very bright audio, so there is an emphasis on those upper mids, but paired with a really punchy, tight bass end, lower end. I would compare the bass on these things to my much more expensive One More triple driver earbuds, the wired variety that I have that I normally listen to. And those things are over $100 typically. So I would favorably compare the sound quality on the Free Mini to those One More triple driver buds. At least in terms of the bass, it's very, very forward. It's very punchy and controlled and full. It sounds really, really good. These guys are definitely brighter than those One More buds. And so you get these very crisp high mids and trebles, but it's certainly not unpleasant to listen to. In fact, it really shines in a lot of genres of music. I listen to some pop music, some metal music, some classical music, some rock, some electronic, a whole variety of things, and it all sounded really good on the free minis out of the box. I was so impressed with the sound quality out of these things, in fact, that when I first put them in and was listening to them, I was hanging out on my Discord, which, by the way, if you want to join, there's a link down below in the video description in every video. We'd be very happy to have you there. It's a great place with lots of fantastic folks. But I was hanging out on the Discord, and I immediately started just gushing about these things to the general chat who was there. And I'm like, I swear I'm not shilling. I'm just really, really impressed with the out-of-the-box sound quality of these Dudios Free Minis, especially given the price point for like the mid $30 or even low. I'd have to double check. I think they're around $33. But for that price, these things sound so, so good. And like I said, that harshness in the upper mids totally gone. So I didn't have that fatigue that I got listening with the Zeus Ace. And just really impressed with the bass response on these things. The mids are a bit recessed overall because they are very bass and treble forward. Overall, though, it's a very fun sound signature. It comes out sounding like something that's just very punchy and very fun. Fantastic for casual music listening, and very good for ASMR as well. There was some audible Bluetooth hiss, but it wasn't particularly distracting or annoying. I would put it on par with what I got out of the Dudios Free Mini, or Zeus Ace, I should say. In terms of connectivity, pretty good. Not the longest range I've ever seen, but again, on par with the Zeus Ace. I did have signal degradation a few times, and I did run into an issue where if I left the vicinity of my Bluetooth transmitter, the signal quality dropped, as is normal. But as I came back to it, the signal quality didn't recover, and so I had to unpair them and repair them. That was kind of annoying and unfortunate to see, but what you gonna do? The microphone quality on these I did test out. It's not amazing, but it's fine. It was a little echoier than on the Zeus Ace, but it was totally usable for calls or whatever you might want to do with these things. Last thing I want to mention here, since this is running a little longer than I wanted, is the battery life. We already know the case for the Free Mini has reduced battery life, but beyond that, the individual buds have somewhat reduced battery life, and that might be due to the slightly smaller profile. Whereas I managed to get over 4 hours of playtime out of the Zeus Ace, I was barely able to eke out 3.5 hours of playtime from the Free Mini. I was listening at about 50% volume pretty continuously. Maybe if you listen to lower volumes, they last a little bit longer. Dudios advertises 4 hours. I think you'd be hard pressed to stretch these little guys to 4 hours of playback time. So that's pretty restrictive. So bear that in mind. Think about your listening patterns and whether that's going to be enough for you. For a jog or a workout at the gym, or for falling asleep listening to ASMR, 3.5 hours perfectly adequate. But if you want to use them all day long, maybe you want to look at something that's got a slightly beefier battery. But that is the price you pay for such a tiny and low profile package like the Dudios Zeus Ace. No issues with the touch controls, of course. They registered my inputs pretty much every time. It just took a little bit of getting used to where to tap on these things to get them to activate. But all that aside, I thought that these Dudios Free Mini, excuse me, getting mixed up here, make for an excellent upgrade over the Zeus Ace. And again, the pricing is within a couple bucks of one another. I don't think the Zeus Ace are bad. Like my original opinion still stands. And if you can EQ them, then the sound quality is fairly comparable. But I was really impressed with the out-of-the-box sound quality on the Free Minis. I like that they were smaller. It made me able to actually use them somewhat comfortably in bed, and I like those touch controls because, again, it lets me use them as a side sleeper without accidentally activating those controls. The reduced battery life is a bit of a bummer, but it's a trade-off. They're a bit smaller, and that goes for both the bud and for the case. So I think that's pretty much everything I had to say about the Dudios Free Mini. I think they are an excellent value proposition. If you were on the fence about getting those Zeus Ace buds, but you wanted something that was maybe a bit slimmer and maybe had slightly better sound quality, then these are the buds for you. I still think they're fantastic value in the mid $30 price range. I think you're going to be really impressed with the sound quality out of these things. Like I said, they compare very favorably to my One More triple drivers, which are 3 times the price. So highly recommended, and I'm glad that I gave Dudios the opportunity here to send them to me so that I could check them out for you and give you this little update in this mini relaxing review. So that's pretty much all I have to say. There are, of course, links down in the video description if you'd like to pick up the Dudios Free Mini for yourself. And, of course, special thanks to Dudios for bugging me about these, getting me to agree to check them out here on the channel, because I was very pleasantly surprised by the increase in sound quality with these little buds. All right, I hope you found this informative. I hope you found it relaxing, and if you'd like to see more of this style of mini review, it's still a 15-minute review, but if you'd like to see more like it, please let me know with a comment down in the video description. Alright, thanks for watching, guys, and I look very forward to having you all back here next time for another episode of relaxing reviews. Bye for now.